guys, welcome to Harvesting Strength. This is Joey. I wanted to talk to you all today, and one of the things I've been thinking about is this whole concept of instant gratification. So, sorry, had to have that ready in hand in case you didn't see that. So with instant gratification, so one of the issues, I don't even want to call it an issue because I don't want it to be like a negative thing, but one of the things I've noticed is that people are really pushing themselves to kind of reach the top or reach the peak as soon as possible. And, I think we see it not just with the weightlifting community, but I think we also see it in just traditional sports. I think it probably started that way anyway itself, where people were trying to, notice that, LeBron James at 18 years old is a phenom, and, he's going to make it to the NBA, and, things go wild. So we all automatically assume like, hey, I want to get to that level. I want to be just like him. What do I have to do? Why can't I do it? I want to be a part of that community. They start paying into certain organizations. They pay certain coaches to help them get there. And, it just becomes this big, big deal. And I think that's something we saw, or that I notice with the lifting and strength community as well. We see a lot of the younger people on social media just really, trying to push it, get linked up with certain coaches, get linked up to certain federations. And hey, look, listen, if you want to be ambitious and aim for the top, I think that's great. But I think a lot of us just have to slow things down a little bit, and just kind of be thankful for where we are and what we are doing, and just really try to take the right steps and appropriate steps to get to where you need to be. I know that I was speaking with someone yesterday, and I know that some of the best strongmen who have competed, and still do compete, are at that point where they're in their early, middle to even late 30s. And that's when they're peaking. And I think when it comes to strength, I know that for myself, I stopped competing for a while. I was about 24, and I did a competition where my bench had dropped a little bit. I had benched about 455, and it wasn't what I wanted it to be. And then I got to deadlift, and I think 610 was just it for me. So then at that point, I just said, hey, I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. I moved on to private coaching, sports performance, which I still have a big eagerness for. And then I went into, coaching and doing volunteer strength stuff and staying in that sports performance realm when it comes to traditional sport. But I didn't really get back into the lifting thing with competitive weightlifting and working with lifters until like the last few years, especially now. If you notice my social media page, I really try to work with as many people as I can from the online platform. And now I'm going to start working a little bit more in person. But nonetheless, when all of that occurred, I kind of felt the eagerness to try to compete myself again. So then I went to a competition last December, and bench was fine. I feel like I've really peaked out at bench, although I could do better. And, I think about a couple weeks ago, I got 460. So I think you really want to go beyond what I've done before. And then I really did a good job last December where I deadlifted 650. And if anybody knows me, I have really short arms. So I'm pretty much deadlifting into my lap, to my belly button almost. But I got 650, and then a couple weeks ago, I got 650 on a stiff bar. So I'm hoping with the deadlift bar and, some different things I'm playing with, I can elevate my performance. But, the reason I bring that up is because at 24, I'm young, I'm youthful, I can recover pretty well. But now I'm at 31, reaching 32 soon, and I feel like I'm still getting stronger. So I don't feel like this whole idea of instant gratification is going to really work out for everybody. And I think it's kind of a little bit of a tough approach to have that mindset at such a young age, because I think eventually what happens with that is these people will start jumping programs, jumping concepts, and just questioning everything. So what I mean by that is, let's say you've acquired an individual who wants to train with you, and they aren't meeting their goals within the first couple months. They kind of feel like their rep maxes are the same or less. Automatically they think, hey, I got to jump to something else. And they haven't put full faith in the program to let it ride out. I think that's a very common theme. I think that every one of us who does mentor and work with other lifters or athletes, It doesn't have to just be, just pure strength stuff, but I think we've all had those issues where we were trying to implement what we think's best, and this population of a younger generation doesn't see the benefit quick enough to where they want to just hop off and go to something else. And I just want all the youth and all this population and certain demographic I'm talking about to just understand, hey, you just got to slow things down a little bit. You got to open your mind a little bit, ask good questions, and trust the process. I know that there's people out there who are instructing others who might not be as qualified, and that's not my position to say, who's who and who should do what. So definitely not my meaning behind this video. But the whole meaning of the video is, to really grow in your sport, I think it really needs to become a situation where we slow things down and, look at what we're doing, look at the programming, look at the design of it, and really ask good questions. Don't just hop on and off because you want this instant level of fame. You got to just ride it out a little bit longer, and I think that things get better. So if somebody thinks this is a video for me to kind of have a platform to say, hey, you shouldn't train with anyone else but me, that's not the case. I just really have noticed a trend with the youth, whether it's powerlifting, strongman, traditional sports. I've really noticed that there's a lot of younger people who want this instant moment of fame, success, when in the end of the day, it's hard work. And I always like how people will poke at the millennials for, thinking that they deserve everything. And I'm not saying that, but at the same time, I have noticed a shift in mindset in this population. So I think we all could do a better job of committing to harder work. And it's not going to happen overnight. You see some of the athletes that come out and they do very well, but they might just be blessed with good genetics, a good frame, a good structure. But don't think just because they did that, that means that you have to be the same way. Now, I'm all about believing in your dreams and reaching high and trying to aim for those. But at the same time, you have to have a realistic outlook on your goals. You want to have SMART goals, right? Measurable, attainable, and realistic. And sometimes you have to just ask yourself, does this really work for me? Or does this really qualify me to being someone with this instant level of fame? I mean, if you're 5'5" and want to be the best receiver in your high school, it's probably gonna be hard to do. Or, be a successful center in the NBA and you're 5'10". It's gonna be hard to do. But you can still try, you can still work hard. But I just think that's, at the end of the day, the message I want to convey to everyone else is that instant gratification is not the mindset you want. You want to actually focus on the hard work and sticking with something. If you commit to a process, just, commit to the whole thing, kind of see how it goes. But don't feel that because you're not getting immediate results that there's something wrong with that person or there's something wrong with the situation. You just got to be committed. And that's kind of my talk today, my little TED Talk. But in all seriousness, I do think that there is concern of instant gratification for the younger population, and there needs to be a little bit more of a understanding of hard work is going to lead you in the right direction versus just thinking, oh, okay, I'm missing out on a couple cool movements or exercises everybody else does, and I need to do those things. And that's another thing too. There's all these people who promote certain exercises and movements, and I'm thankful that there's some people with a little bit more clout than me that can tell you that, hey, doing certain movements is not going to make you better. They're just flashy and gimmicky, and they're not going to provide anything for you. And I don't like to make things awkward or anything like that, but one of the hardest things for me to realize people doing is a pause deadlift. Like for me, I don't like it. Because when you're deadlifting, you're just trying to get it off the ground quick. Why would I teach myself to bring it up, stop, and then come through again? I guess it's the whole manipulation of fatigue, which I can respect, but I think if you're trying to manipulate fatigue, there's better ways to do it than that. And definitely the biggest thing I would provide for anybody who wants to get better at not just deadlifting or not only deadlifting, but maybe like power cleaning or anything where you're pulling off the ground is to work more with acceleration versus just doing dead stops. and then continue the movement after the fact. So that's just kind of some stuff that's been on my mind, and maybe it resonates with you guys. If you have a question or concern, or maybe something comes up during this conversation, leave a comment below, and then maybe we can talk about it afterwards. All right, thanks.